Hey guys, it's Cody Hofhine and
Brent Daniels.
#1 wholesaling coaching program in the nation. It's Wholesaling Inc. and
TTP, baby. Hey Cody, seriously though, I am here for one reason only, to find out who has a better business, you or me.
Eesh.
Are you willing to break it down on the camera and show everybody your numbers, where you got them, and how you did it?
Let's do it, brother. Let's do it. All right, so let's break it down. We are ready to go over 2018 and realize when we met this morning how our companies are actually kind of a reflection, a mirror of each other.
Yin and yang, the
Yin
exact
and yang.
opposite. Now, here's the thing. Production is always #1. Being able to bring that income down to the bottom line, do a lot of deals, and be as profitable as possible with it is like the cornerstone of both of our businesses. But we do it exactly opposite.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I can't say it any different.
Right.
First of all, how do you get your hair?
Well, this
has nothing to do with wholesaling.
This is 37 years of a lot of protein shakes and a lot of like really, really good, unique product that I put in my hair. So, listen, you don't wake up like this. Let's just say that. It takes a lot of effort.
Work.
Yeah.
It's action. It's action.
work.
All right. So let's break it down. Let's get the skinny. We did a Facebook Live.
Yep.
There was a lot of interest in people knowing what are the numbers, what it is. So I want to help each one of you out there listening. This is not to toot the own horn. This is just to help you realize ways that you can get more effective in your marketing and the best way of doing it, and realizing we were literally opposites of each other on what we focus on first and foremost, and then how inevitably you have to grow by adding more marketing channels.
Yep.
So we'll break that down.
Yeah.
So maybe Brent, start it off.
Yep.
What was your focus? You're getting into wholesaling. Like, we know, and we teach this all the time, you've got to stay focused on how many things? One thing, guys.
One channel.
One thing. That's it. Like a sniper, one bullet at a time. What was the one thing that made you your initial revenue and what you built your business on?
I built my whole business on being proactive and picking up the phone and cold calling. Now I've turned that into what's called talk to people instead of cold calling. It's just a different acronym for it, just because I think it's important that it's talking to people every single day. Like our business, I don't care if it's your business or my business, the business boils down, everybody's successful business boils down to having quality conversations with distressed property owners. That's it. Whether they call you or you call them. That's it. Either way, you have to. That is the whole business. Now, of course, you got to close the deal. You got to be able to sell it to your cash buyers. You got to be able to go through title and escrow and make sure that there's equity and all these things. I get it. But if you're not having quality conversations with distressed property owners every day, you don't have a business, and you're just or you're just going to do a deal here and there, just kind of pot shotting it and just trying to kind of trying to build the business. But if you're not focused on the quality, you're done.
So, Tom, when he was here, we actually filmed in front of this rhino over there.
Okay.
But what we talked about is
By the way, we're in Cody's office right now. They're taking action right here. This is his actual team right here in the background. They're still here. They're still doing awesome. I mean, I love all the action. They've got a whole bullpen of people. Like literally, I've been here all day, and it's been probably, and I'm not overshooting this, probably at least 150 calls, lead follow-up calls that they've been taking all day long. So if you want to see what a snapshot of your future business should look like in this industry, it is this. This is awesome. The fact that you invite people into it I do the same, so I get it, but
it's a good thing.
It's awesome.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So we talked about the 10 things that can kill a wholesaler. One of them was not having a singular focus.
Right.
It's realizing your strength and your huge focus is cold calling, getting out there cold calling. You're the master at it. You're the guy that's developed and known as the cold caller.
Like it's rock the most successful.
Out.
Yeah.
What we do is we start everyone off just the opposite.
Right.
We go direct mail.
Get it.
And that's been our jam. And we love ultimately when people say, hey, direct mail's dead. And I'm like, good, perfect. More deals. Let's rock and roll.
I get it.
Right?
Yep.
So let's talk about maybe the breakdown. I want to know your numbers of cold calls. We'll break down mine, and you'll see what I mean when I say a direct mirror reflection, but both ways work. That's the best part about this. but the approach was exactly the same.
Yeah.
It was a singular focus starting with one channel and then knowing inevitably you can't grow unless you add that second or third or fourth, but still with a sniper approach. So what did wholesaling do for you in general for the whole entire year? What was the gross revenue for Brent Daniels' business for 2018?
$1,483,000. Okay, so 1,483. Now 1,071,000 of that was cold calling.
Cold calling.
The other side was direct mail, which was about 320,000. The rest was referrals that I got in.
Sure.
But
sure.
Now let's flip flop this.
All right, let's flip flop. You're going to see the flip flop
because your business went bananas in 2018. Your team went bananas in Utah. I mean, it was just off the charts.
We went 1.2 million in 2017, and we knew we wanted to grow, and we pushed ourselves for 1.8.
Right.
Now I look back and I'm like, man, we should have said 2, because what did we get?
Right.
1.8.
Yeah.
And so we did.
So what's the breakdown?
The breakdown is 900,000 came from direct mail. So here's that direct mirror reflection, right? That direct opposite. 400 and about 50,000 came from TTP cold calling.
Yeah.
But here's the beautiful thing.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
We look at a lot of these deals. Here's the data that drove me nuts at the end of the year.
Yeah.
We look at everything in detail. We looked at all the deals that came from TTP, and those same individuals, on average, had been hit like 4 times, 5 times by direct mail, but we didn't get them from direct mail, only when we got proactive and got them from picking up the phone and doing TTP.
Right.
This is a beautiful thing. So we would have missed out on a lot of that money. Now, some of that money, maybe, maybe not, you can't say, would have came in maybe from direct mail.
Right.
But it didn't.
Right.
At the end of the day, I can say we added $450K from a big first time, like all the way through from January to December, full year, just implementing exactly what you teach.
That's it. Well, and I think you got to build your business up to a certain point to where you have the capacity to do it. You have the right people in place to take all those incoming leads. You have the people in place to make those calls. You have those people in place to sell the deals for the most amount possible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it does take time, one, to get the right team around you, but two, to really figure out and test the marketing channel that you're going after. So you guys have been doing the direct mail for so long.
It's kind of like our staple, our bread and butter.
No, it is, and it works. I mean, it works for us as well. It's just, and that's in both very competitive markets. They're all competitive. So let's just drop that.
Just cut it.
Just in markets, right?
It's a crutch.
But you know what I mean? Like, there is no way that I could do all that myself. Right? There's no way that I could have as much impact without building out a company to be able to do that and get the right people in there. But most importantly, I had to make sure that I had a secure channel, because let's be honest, when you hire somebody, they don't work for you. You're working for them.
That's correct.
Right?
That is
if
correct.
You're not
That's
bringing in,
I would be writing down.
If your marketing is not bringing in enough leads right now to close things in the next 30, 60, 90 days, how are you going to afford to pay people? If you're not overflowing with opportunities in your marketplace, how are you going to be able to give that to somebody else and bless somebody else with these opportunities? Because I'm telling you, people want to be paid well, but more importantly than that, people want to win. They want to get signed contracts. They want to go home and say, I did it, honey. I got this deal today. You know what? I mean, they want all these things. So I think it's really important to go deep into your marketing channel, whether it be direct mail, whether it be TTP, and really focus to make sure that you're bringing in enough opportunities to be able to bring people on. And then you start expanding. Then you start growing. And then things get really exciting.
So here's something, we didn't even pre-think about what we're going to talk about on some of this stuff. This could be a question.
We don't think a lot.
No. I'm going to ask a question that I already know the answer, but just to show you what type of individual you need to be when you're bringing on a team. So at the end of the day, it's fair to say we've both hired individuals, and it's like, they failed, they didn't do anything. But really, I want to ask the pinpoint question. Now listen to this answer. Who failed?
Us.
Why you?
Every time.
Why was it not
every time
the first person you hired and all of a sudden they let go and it's like they didn't do anything that I wanted to do? Why is that your problem?
A couple different things.
Listen to this, guys. This is key.
No, a couple different things. One, once you get into the place where everything's your fault, the world opens up, right?
Because the world is your oyster when you take blame.
When everything is your fault, when you are the one to whether it for any failure. Now the successes is different. It gets a little bit different there, and we can talk about it. But when you're bringing on other people, you have their financial responsibility of them in your hands.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if they're not doing it, either you're putting them in the wrong position, right? Or you're not training them enough to be able to succeed. So you give them if you're not giving them the right tools, the right attention, the right recognition, the right love, the right support, the right example.
Yeah.
That you're showing up and you're grinding, you're doing this thing. Let's be honest, guys. This is not like a Fortune 100 business. This is wholesaling. If you're not showing up, if you think that you can run this from the beach alone for a year and your team's going to do everything, they're not. I'm telling you, they're not going to do it. They see what you're doing and they're going to take that and they're gonna use that as fuel in their daily efforts and their daily actions. I'm telling you, this is not some set it and forget it business. This is the grind business. Wholesaling is the cash machine that builds up the bank account so you can buy assets, whether that be other companies, whether that be real estate or apartments or commercial or land, all these other things that then you buy. That runs by itself. You can kick back on the beach. Now you're running life like that. But this wholesaling business,
it is not
right now in
passive
2019.
at all.
In 2019, if you are not in the game, if you are not ferocious, if you are not encouraging, if you are not grateful, if you are not going through all these like huge positive emotions and positive like influences and positive like examples and committed, forget about it.
So I wanted to share maybe my story a little bit with you guys. I didn't start too long ago in wholesaling. This is not just something that takes 20 years to do. We haven't been in business 20 years. It's not the case. 2015, I came home, so less than 4 years ago, I came home to my wife crying. I came home early from the insurance agency. My wife was crying and she didn't know how to make ends meet, how to pay bills. There was stress on her. And I can remember that day like it was yesterday. And so for those out there that are thinking, how do I do this? Like, you guys just must have had money. You guys must have done this. You guys must have this. You guys just have the gift of gab. I want to tell you, I was in a rough place. I was living paycheck to paycheck. In fact, there's just been a recent survey done by CNN. 68% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and those same individuals only have $800 to hold them over to their next paycheck. And the Hofhine family was part of that statistic. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, but I knew what I wanted so bad, and I knew what I did not want to live anymore, and that was paycheck to paycheck. And I did anything and everything possible and sold whatever I could, minus my kids, and I did everything possible to get enough money to just get out there and take massive imperfect action. And we talked about maybe even a little bit of breakdown of direct mail. You're gonna have to send out a little bit more. It's gonna take a little bit more marketing. So I always tell people, prepare for at least $1,000 budget a month where you can send out enough postcards to get enough opportunity. What would you say TTP is a month if you could say, hey, if you had this conservatively, and guys, I'm not here to say a minimum. Like, I don't want you to feel like, hey, you can do this off $100. I don't want to lie to you. But what is conservative?
500.
Like $500 for TTP.
And that would be to get a deal machine app.
Yeah.
Right? Just so you can drive around for dollars and then skip tracing the phone numbers. And then you can just call them. You know, it really is. I mean, we've got 2 different contrasting businesses. You've got mail, I've got TTP. We're still going after, at the end of the day, it's still going after the same opportunities. But I know that part of this, and if you're watching this, this is a part of self-awareness. Like, if you know you don't want to pick up the phone, you don't want to grind it out, you would rather people call you and have those conversations, and you'll build up more of a bank account to be able to send out mail, then do that. Right? Have some self-awareness that understands who you are. But if you're that proactive, pick up, go, get it going now, one phone call away from $10, $20, $50,000, whatever it is that we can make, then really look into the TTP program. I mean,
it's the pros and cons, right? It's like both sides are both a win. Don't get me wrong. It's looking at some people, like, did you say some people that don't have time?
No.
But they have a budget?
Yeah.
Direct mail is a very scalable, like, automated system. And if not, guess what? You replace cash with hustle and desire.
Yeah.
That's why I love TTP, because even though cash flow is coming in, we're now using TTP because that hustle, that drive, that desire brought in a lot of money that we wouldn't have made had we not done TTP. So the two of them just really go together.
I mean, I think just looking at this, obviously, guys, you see us on Cody and I on Facebook. You see us on the YouTube. You see us. You hear us on the podcast. Trying to bring as much value as possible, like some tangible things that you can go and really implement. I think with this video, the tangible thing here is, who are you? Do you have an awkward schedule, like somebody that's in the military, or somebody that's a police officer or a firefighter,
or even a doctor on 4 days off 4
or whatever that you need to have these conversations on your schedule? Well, then TTP. If you've got the opportunity to, and you don't have time, but you can kind of get away and pick up the phone when people call you, and you've got a budget, then it's all about sending out their direct mail. Both work. People see the Wholesaling Inc. and the TTP under the same umbrella because it works. I mean, it just depends on who you are. There's two types of wholesalers out there. There's two types of wholesaling businesses out there. Either you're buying the business for those calls to come in, or you're going out and you're making those calls to start those conversations. But it all comes down to quality conversations with distressed property owners.
It does.
Which, just changing tracks a little bit, so that sentence, if you break that down, quality conversations to me means you're pre-qualifying them.
Okay. This is key. Write this down right now. What is a quality conversation? Write this down. This is going to be quality.
You're pre-qualifying them based on the condition of their house, their timeline to sell, their motivation to sell, and their price. Okay. Second thing is, how's your tone of voice on the phone? Listen, I've talked to some of you guys out there. Stop being so tough guy or tough girl out there. Okay, you need to soften your tone. People will like you better and talk to you more.
So true.
Third, you gotta actively listen. When people are talking to you and you're silent on the other end, and you're taught through the scripts that you have, through the scripts that I have, the incoming call scripts and the TTP scripts, to ask certain questions, don't just ask the questions. It turns the conversation into an interrogation.
Sure.
Right? You hear us. Yes, sure, got it. Makes sense. Yep. Okay. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Got it. Okay. The pool. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sure. Yes. You gotta actively listen. It makes people feel more comfortable opening up to you because they understand that you're actually listening to them. If you're just sitting and they're talking about their house and how it was built in 1983 and it's 2,000 square feet and it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and then you're like, so what do you want for the house? That's not going to transition. There's no transition.
You know what?
But people do this.
They do this all the time.
My new acquisition managers do this every single time. And I say, listen, we're going to have literally, we do this in the office.
Yeah.
We're literally like, I'm going to say something to you and ask you a question. You're going to respond to me and ask me a question, open-ended, right? Who, what, when, why, how, right?
Yeah.
Not, do you want to go outside? Yes, no, right? Ask an open-ended question. It's huge. It's important. So, the quality conversations, distressed property owners, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Sorry, it took a long way to get there.
Full circle after we found the circle.
But what lists?
Here's the thing. There's so many great lists out there. And it's, again, I think you still do more of a sniper approach. And you get really good at nailing down the list. So you have to let numbers. I'm going to tell you some lists that are super hot for a great market that I live in right here in Utah. You're going to have to try these things out and then ultimately let your numbers tell you, is that what I want to invest my time in, or is it a different list, right? But I'll tell you, probate, awesome, awesome, awesome. That is an individual where maybe mom and dad died, it wasn't left in a trust, and the kids just inherit it, but it's still got to go through probate, okay? That's different than inherited. Those are two separate things. And then the next one would be eviction, right? You've got these landlords that are out there that they just found out that their tenant just smoked meth and dumped concrete down the toilets. I'm that distinct on that description because that was a deal that we came across. Exactly that. Meth and dumped concrete down the toilet, okay? What does that landlord sound like? Very motivated. He was ticked off, didn't see a way to fix it up because meth is all through the house. So probate, eviction, tax delinquent is still a hot list. I would say that's our top 3 right now in Utah, and 3 lists that we continually invest money in because it brings in such a great ROI.
Nice.
For you?
Totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different. Multifamily, tired multifamily owners, okay? Duplex, triplex, fourplex. Listen to me. Focus real quick. If a duplex, triplex, or fourplex is owned by a person's name, call them now. Okay? If they don't own it in an LLC, there is something wrong. Go after them right now. I'm telling you, please. Number 2 is code violations. Code violations per city. Go to your neighborhood services department and get the code violations. And the third one is just a regular old tired landlord.
Is yours easy on the code violation? For Utah, we have to do what's called a grama request. Grama. Grama request.
No, you could just go right in.
Ours is completely different. You ask for it. Some cities charge for it,
Honestly,
which is totally fine though, because they're great.
I was having somebody go down, and I went to flip this real estate list with Eric Torrente. Flip this real estate list. He pulled the same exact list, like that.
Awesome.
So you might want to see if it's available in your market, and not even mess with the whole learning the ins and outs of how to woo the gal behind the counter to give you the right
bring
list.
Them a Coke and a chocolate bar.
And bring her to flowers for 6 months before you get the list. Just talk to somebody that maybe has already done the heavy lifting.
Sure. Sure.
So those are the top 3. I think multifamily. There's a lot of money in the economy right now. I keep talking about it, and people want to put it.
People love multifamily.
People with money too. I just saw on
multifamily.
Facebook somebody doing. There's like 3 different seminars today on multifamily, apartment syndications, multifamily, all this thing. Packed house.
Sold out seats.
Packed house. It's like everybody's there. I don't know who they are, but
sure.
It's just
a great way to go find some cash buyers, maybe.
Yep. Sure.
Hint.
So yeah.
Okay. Now tell me your story.
Yeah.
What got you into wholesaling, and was it just this easy, I turned the switch on and I was one blessed fortunate cookie?
So, as a young man, I got my real estate license. I studied for it in college.
Okay.
Got it and started being a traditional agent in 2004, right? Yeah.
Okay.
2004.
Right before the crash, where you had some great time.
It was a great time. But being a young man and being an entrepreneur,
you spent it stupidly.
Being an expressive personality, I thought to myself, well, why don't I open my own brokerage, and then I'll just recruit people, and I'll have the best brokerage in town. It's going to be amazing. So then, to have a great brokerage, you have to have a great office space.
Sure.
So I did a 10-year lease
and did
with
you have
a
great car?
With a personal with a personal guarantee on 9,000 square feet in North Scottsdale.
Oh, personal guarantee.
On a 10-year lease.
Oh.
Because why not? I knew I had that confidence. I was driving my Mercedes. I had a Range Rover. Life was good, baby. I was 25.
Oh, the setup is so beautiful.
I mean, it was great. And then
2008 hit.
Reality
How
hit.
was it?
I signed the office lease in January 2008. In September
my
2008,
goodness.
the economic world collapsed. And I foreclosed on 5 properties. I lost both cars. They slapped me with a judgment on that for $70,000, right?
Okay.
$70,000, and I had to pay them $3,000 a month until it was paid off. Okay, and I wasn't able to pay that $3,000 a month after 6 months, right? So then they reverted it back to the total amount, which was $740,000 that I owed them, with interest. And see, the funny thing about not paying an office lease, they put a judgment on you, and when they put a judgment on you, interest starts tacking up on that judgment.
Sure.
So what also happens is their attorneys every 6 months make you come in and show your financials, and if you have anything, they take it and put it towards credit to the $700. So couldn't show. The car that I drove around in was under my dad's name, right? I was living in an apartment. Okay, I was scratching by trying to flip houses at the trustee auction. It was doing okay, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Then all the big buyers came in and washed that out. So then I just started doing traditional deals, and then I started door knocking.
Yeah.
Because I knew there was opportunities out there. I had no idea what wholesaling was.
Sure.
I knew that there was houses that needed to be flipped.
Yeah.
So me and a crew of 3 other people, 2 gals and another guy, we went out and we knocked 15,000 doors around Phoenix. I was very tan, if you can imagine. I was a lot leaner,
Boiling.
I'm sure. And we got 3 deals for
Yeah.
15,000, which is not a lot. And the first few deals that I got, I didn't even know what wholesaling was. I did it as an agent. I brought it to my cash buyer, and they said, yeah, we'll pay you a commission. And then at the closing settlement statement, at the bottom, they weren't even on it anymore. At the bottom was something called an assignment fee for $40,000. This happened in the first 3 deals for a total of $92,000 before I figured out what wholesaling was. And wholesaling was always what I wanted to be a real estate investor.
Yeah.
But I felt as a real estate agent, you had to make so much money. You had so much expenses. It was like working yourself to the bone to get paid a commission.
Sure.
And then you had to save whatever is left over to try to be a real estate investor. It was just like it was an endless cycle. And then all of a sudden I could see that you could make $20,000 a deal from wholesale. 30, 40, 50, 60. You'd have to sell a $2 million house to get $60,000 commission. And I sold a house that was $90,000 and I sold for $150 and I made $60,000.
Yeah.
I mean, the light bulb goes off. The synapses, the neurons in your brain change. You know, you were doing insurance, and then all of a sudden you started doing wholesaling, and then all of a sudden you really started doing wholesaling, and now it's like your whole brain's changed.
Yeah.
And that's, again, around surrounding yourself with amazing people.
Yeah.
We both found Tom Kroll,
Yeah.
and then we found each other, and then we found Todd Tobeck, and then we found amazing people around the country.
Yeah.
And we share what we've learned, and we love what we do.
So the key thing, guys, to wrap this all up, it doesn't come easy. I don't want this to be some get rich quick and you just get in there and you're just gonna kill it and it's guaranteed to work. It's gonna take hard, massive, imperfect action. Brent went from literally living a life of chaos and holy smokes, how am I ever gonna get out of this pit, to now he just shared a story, he just shared a video. He owns his home free and clear. Mm-hmm. This doesn't just happen overnight. It's not easy. I don't want to pitch that it's easy, but I want to tell you it's worth it. He could have given up many times and said, I'm done. I'm going back to the comfortable job. I'm going back to the comfortable whatever, but he didn't. Mm-hmm. He stuck it out when things got tough. And I want you to know that success is found, or success starts, when comfort ends. So think about that. Success starts when comfort ends. When you're ready to get out of your comfort zone and just get uncomfortable every day, you're gonna start to see and taste and feel success. And that success is gonna breed more success. And everything's just gonna keep on going little by little, piece by piece, to where you start doing your first deal, then your second deal, then your 5th deal, then I'm telling you, the world is your oyster at that point. You no longer just have to simply wholesale. You can now keep these for long-term buy and holds. You can pay off your home. You can enjoy vacations with your family and ultimately do what it is that you want to do on your terms. And if you do this, it's going to be hard. It's okay. You're going to make mistakes. It's okay. But don't wait for a perfect plan. It doesn't exist. So just get out there and take action. What are some of your final thoughts?
I mean, I don't know how to follow that up. It's perfect. No, I love it. I mean, literally, guys, talk to people, quality conversations with distressed property owners. Set up your whole business life for that sentence. Quality conversations, distressed property owners, you will win. Now, stack the small wins. Hey, getting out of bed at a reasonable time is a win. Putting on clothes and not staying in your underwear all day is a win. Getting in your car is a win. Starting it is a win. Driving and getting a rundown property, writing down the address is a win. Getting its phone number is a win. Making the call is a win. Don't just say, I got to do a deal and make 10,000, 15, 20,000, or I'm going to feel like a loser and that's the only way I can win. No, stack all those little actions up, put it together. That's how you win. That's how you build a business. That's how you scale the business. And that's how all of a sudden your family starts, what's this wholesaling thing that you, what are you doing? You're a real estate investor now? Your friends are start coming around. Everybody that was like, what are you doing? You're out there driving around the neighborhood, stalking people's houses. You're so weird. What are you doing? People are going to arrest you. They're going to shoot you, right? People don't get it. And then all of a sudden you're like, being successful. And they're like, can I come with you? What do you do? You just...
Can I take you to a $5 lunch?
Can anybody do it? Can anybody do it, right? So, I mean, it's the Rhino philosophy. It's taking massive imperfect action. It's progress, not perfection. It's quality conversations with distressed property owners. I mean, those are a lot of taglines.
Yeah.
But really, if you just boil it down to that, and you've got the tools here. You've got the ability to get the right lists and the right mentorship and the right marketing pieces and the right somebody to answer all the questions that you have in the Wholesaling Inc. program, also in the TTP program. If you're that more proactive person, you want to keep that budget tight, maybe your schedule's kind of screwy because you're in the military or whatever else, then TTP is the route. Check us out at wholesalinginc.com.
I love it, guys. Get vulnerable with us, okay? I want comments down below. Share your biggest struggles. What are your hurdles, your challenges? We'll hop in and respond to these comments. We love getting engaged with you guys. And then ultimately, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so that you can get the alert when we put up new content. God bless, and we'll see you on the next video.
See ya.